Today, it is my distinct honor to welcome back to the show our Secretary of State and candidate for governor, Brian Kemp. Welcome back to the show, Brian. I listened to that debate on Sunday on Washington TV, and somebody's not telling the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, because, I mean, it's not really about who's most qualified. It's really about who's telling the truth.
No, I definitely think so. I mean, that's one of the frustrating things in the debate. The guy that I'm running against, who has all the money, he had all these establishment endorsements to start with, and talked about, this record and begged everybody in the race. There were 7 of us when we started. Then it was 2 people dropped out, and there was 5 that were on the ballot in the primary. He was telling everybody, let's run a clean race, let's don't attack each other, let's run on our records, which is exactly what I did all the way through the primary. And he literally attacked everyone. He attacked Hunter Hill, attacked Casey Cagle, attacked myself. He didn't necessarily have to attack Michael Williams because he just wasn't doing that well in the polls. And then as soon as we got in the runoff, he just unmercifully started attacking me because he had all the money to do it. We had to re-raise to be able to get where we are now, and now we're fighting back on that because I'm not just going to let him, attack me without responding, especially when he's not telling the truth. But I think that says a lot about the campaign. Obviously, he's seeing the polling numbers, and he saw us tying him almost immediately after the primary. And then the last poll that came out last week had us up by 3. There's other polls, I believe, that are coming and things we're seeing that have us up even more than that. We're still not over 50% yet, so we got to keep working hard to get the vote out to win this thing, but we're in a really good spot. And he's just doubling down on trying to destroy me because that's really the only way he can win. And that's just what happens in politics. I don't really hold any grudges against that, but it's just unfortunate that he is distorting the record on many things and just flat out lying on others on a couple of, one business deal I was involved in, something that happened or a couple of things that happened in the Secretary of State's office. And, it's really interesting, a guy that has less than 10 employees as lieutenant governor is attacking me for, a couple of different things that happened over 8.5 years in an office where you have 250 employees and you're doing all these things every day. I mean, he's even admitted that he is a part-time official. He's got a part-time salary as lieutenant governor where I have a full-time one because we have more responsibilities, more duties that we have to do every day. And, because we had an employee that didn't follow policy and procedure that I implemented and sent some information out that shouldn't have been, even though I reacted quickly. We stopped anything bad from happening. We protected the public. And I was also transparent, Lou. I mean, I went on camera and said, look, this is what happened. We have fired the employee because he broke the protocol, which was unacceptable. But I said it happened on my watch. I took full responsibility, and I said we're going to make sure this never happens again. And most people, when they hear that, they can go, well, yeah, that's going to happen. I mean, Governor Deals had issues like that, the first ice storm. I mean, it was a rough go. But you know what? He put in new procedures, got a different team in place to handle it different in the future, and it's been good ever since. And that's what you're going to have to deal with as governor. Whereas my opponent, I mean, he's never even had to do those things. He's just pointing fingers at my record, and he's been there for 24 straight years. Long as I've been married, and he can't run on his own record now. Whereas that's, where I've been talking about from day one and continued to talk about until he started attacking me was making Georgia #1 for small business, reforming state government, making sure no matter where you live, you have the same opportunities as everyone else. And that we have a governor that's going to put Georgians first. And, I really fought back hard in the debate Sunday and basically just, I called him Pinocchio in the first debate, and I called him Pinocchio 2.0 in the second debate, and it's really the reason he's doing that is he's trying to distract from the tapes that got leaked out that have him admitting that he will change his principal policy beliefs on a piece of legislation that he's opposed for years, saying, it's bad policy, but it's good politics for him. It'll help stop another candidate from getting contributions or help him get contributions. If that's not illegal, it certainly should be. And it's devastating for him because he's saying one thing in a private conversation, and then he's telling people he believes something completely different in public. And that is someone you cannot trust to be his governor, because as governor, you have got to make decisions, and not everybody's always going to agree with them, but they need to be thoughtful, and you need to be transparent in that process, and then tell people why you did that. And I've found that in my service in the private sector, in the legislature, and as Secretary of State, that when I've done that, even if people don't agree with me, they have a good understanding about where I am, and they can live with that in their elected leaders.
I watched the debate, and I was thinking it's sort of like he's blaming you for catching him, or even though you weren't involved in it. But it's kind of like a bank robber criticizing the police because they caught him.
Oh, sure it is. I mean, that's just really outrageous. He's quite honestly acting like Hillary Clinton. You know, he's saying I'm corrupt, number one. He's saying that I'm a sexual predator on some other ridiculous ad he's running over, an investigation that we did and turned over to the licensing board that has the authority to prosecute and to sanction or revoke the license. He's blaming me that they haven't acted, even though they're working on that. And then he says I colluded on the tape, which I did not. And that's the same thing that Hillary Clinton did to Donald Trump.
So stay tuned. Be right back.